What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. We all know the protagonist of the Pokémon anime for over 20 years. He may not be perpetually 10 like we thought, but he certainly does not experience the passage of time in a linear fashion like the rest of us. And I could see why some people love him and some people hate him. That seems to be mostly a recent development, but regardless, I think we can all admit that Ash Ketchum has gotten a little bit out of hand. He's been a bumbling fool for a while, but that's beside the point. I'm talking about his Pokémon. Sure, if you add up his teams over time, he'll be able to put together a blowout roster, but those powerhouses are generally limited to 1 or 2 per region. I will say that Alola did start to stretch it a little bit with Incineroar, Dusk-Lycanroc, Naganadel, and a Melmetal. I would probably have a hard time catching enough for a full team too if I already had a couple of legendaries. The reason I don't have as much of a problem with his Gen 7 team being OP is because at least he started out with all of those in their smaller, cute forms. Of course, Pikachu will never evolve, although we did get to see it as a Pichu, so that's cool. And in his journey's tenure, he did start out by getting a Farfetch'd, one from the Galar region, and a Riolu, technically as an egg first, so he did work his way up for some of them. However, others are where it gets absurd. He did kind of cheat and get a fully evolved Mr. Mime from his mom, but if you ask me, they should have given him a Galarian one instead so it could have evolved again. But getting a Pokemon like his old gym badges isn't the worst part. In this latest iteration of the Pokémon series, Ash not only got an overpowered Dracovish, but also caught a fully evolved Dragonite as well as a Gengar. Are you kidding me? 2 third-stage Pokémon right off the bat? I mean, Iris did catch a full-blown Dragonite, but at least she has the excuse of being a Dragon-type specialist. Granted, he did meet it as a Dragonair, but it promptly evolved after he helped it and then almost immediately joined him. They couldn't have let it stay that way for even, 3 episodes? Same with the Gengar. He just rolled up one day and suddenly after a single nice conversation, the prankster Spectre of Living Shadows decided to devote his life to this small child. The thing is, it's not that out of place for Ash or his companions to befriend powerful Pokémon. That's pretty much the premise of every Pokémon movie in existence, but they don't usually stick around to become a mainstay for a primary character. If there is a special team joining episode, it'll more than likely be a base stage Pokémon. And the closest thing I could think to the Journey's treatment is the Krokorok that Ash caught in Unova, but even then there was like a season's worth of build-up before it evolved and signed up full-time. Basically, my point is there's no reason for Ash to have been buffed to such a ridiculous degree. He's always done fine enough with his lower Pokémon, so can you imagine how much he'll dominate with a team that's already so powerful from the start? Even Pikachu is getting in on the action since he can Gigantamax in Galar instead of just the regular Dynamax. But that's about the extent of the Galar region love that Ash is getting. Is it too much to let him have a Rookidee or a Roly-Coly like he would normally get? He didn't even get a starter since Go hogged them all. So all things considered, this is not the best representation for Generation 8 from the main character of your flagship series. I mean, the regional variant is cool, I guess, but as I said, there could be more, and the only other one is a disturbing amalgamation of science gone wrong. So I don't know why they're purposefully downplaying the current region in its own generation, although I guess it would be perfect to pad out the show for longer if they need more development time for Gen 9, but I doubt they're thinking that far ahead. But regardless, Ash's ridiculous new trend of getting only combat-heavy Pokémon means that he's pretty much already the new champion. Aside from some doubling up on types, he can steamroll most trainers without even really trying, which is good for him because Ash isn't really the most competent of trainer these days. That could be the one saving grace to keep him in check, his own internal failings as a trainer. But even as a screw-up, if you throw out a Lucario to do your bidding, it'll still be hard to fail. Where is the suspense in Ash fighting anybody, even gym leaders, when the only thing you're waiting for is how Ash is going to mess it up? He's not an underdog anymore, when he could almost single-handedly Fishious Rend his way up to the top, and that's just with one of his Pokémon. Besides, learning how to handle defeat is a good lesson for kids. especially when they've tried their hardest, not just when they do something wrong. And it doesn't seem like Pokémon is interested in teaching that lesson anymore. Although we might be in luck if Ash sticks to his other tendencies, since there's a good possibility that he could give up one or more of these powerful Pokémon at the end of this run. I apologize if you're not understanding the problem, but this has me concerned that it will only get worse. As mentioned before, Ash has built up to powerful teams in the past, but just being handed overpowered Pokémon makes it really hard to be relatable. Especially when the most recent games went out of their way to make sure that we couldn't do just that, preventing us from catching Pokémon that were too strong. And even more especially when he insists on continuing to lose all the time, since many trainers are competent enough to win even despite disadvantages. So it's either too ridiculous for him to be so inept with such a leg up, or he's so OP that there's nothing of yourself to see in him. Mr. Ketchum has been problematic for a while now, but if failing to represent the Galar region wasn't bad enough, giving players an unreasonable expectation of the ease in acquiring only the strongest Pokémon means that they'll be sorely disappointed by having to wait a good few hours, if not the end of the game, to get anywhere close. Journeys didn't come out of nowhere with this. Ash has caught strong Pokémon before, but they're usually merely kept in reserve for dire situations, not a full-time team of all of them. But now it's like they don't even care to try anymore, letting Ash become all-powerful. Or at the very least, just traveling with characters that we don't even know. The next series, he might just be off by himself, exclusively catching legendaries. Or maybe they can course correct. Who knows? Perhaps they'll have an Arceus-focused story in the show once Pokémon Legends comes out, and they'll set things right. But I have vented long enough on a series that I haven't even actually watched. What do you think of our inevitable galactic ruler Ash Ketchum in his current state? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!